Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. This is a collective reading. Sorry. So right away, when I was getting ready to start the reading, the collective, whoever I'm talking to right now, the collective message is definitely, it's like whoever I'm talking to, like I can feel it. You're going through a transition up, like you're definitely transcending upward, and you're aware of it and you know, and you're a super open channel right now. So it's like you're receiving so much information that you're not really sure how to even like filter it out. You're not even sure how to like just silence some of it and only grab some. It's like you're just constantly going. I think that your intuition, like your actual intuitive side, this experience you're having, I think that it's making your physical self exhausted. Like I think that you're going through, it's interesting because I feel like your physical self is exhausted and feeling weighed down, literally physically, like physically weighed down. And yet I picture like when someone's about to start a race and they're lunging and they're getting ready to like take off and go and like make their shot and go for it. That's where I feel like you are. So whoever I'm talking to, if you are feeling physically, it's almost like you feel a physical barrier between your human self and your intuitive awareness. It's like there's this physical weighing you down and you're feeling like why do I feel so weighed down, but I'm so open and still receiving so much. Crazy. So I feel like what they're doing is that race thing where they're actually getting, like you're at the start where you're lunging down and this is what they're doing with you. They're actually getting all of that stuff out of the way so that when you go forward with this awareness and all of this ability that you have, that you're going to have more underneath you. Like you're going to have more of a solid foundation. Ooh, okay. So one of the things that I was getting for the collective message too, it's like, okay, first of all, you're getting your uniqueness here. You're unique. That was rude. I don't mean you're not unique as who you are already, but it's like you are forming your new unique way of using your intuition. It's like your connection to the collective consciousness is so fluid and you know you're supposed to do something with it, and you're like trying to leave behind those physical, those human like weaknesses, like the lower frequencies that you have. I feel like you've cleaned them out over the last like 10 years. You've cleaned out these lower frequency connections, whether it was between you and people or you and behaviors and like maybe self-medicating stuff or just like the mundane getting by type of stuff, the things that we do as a culture, but it's actually really, it's like just this big group of self-sabotage. You know what I mean? It's like addiction type stuff. That doesn't have to be to a substance. Like I said, like behavior. Okay, so whoever I'm talking to, it's like, this sounds kind of interesting. This is not everyone, but it's like you're feeling weighed down. Almost when you're totally awake and coherent, it's like that it's like a sleep paralysis, but you're obviously awake and your systems are moving. So it's like, I feel like you're getting so much information and there's stuff in the way from it moving throughout your entire systems. So it's like your head is over flooded, but the rest of your body is feeling like still. So the message, like the collective message, I thought I have to say this for this reading for sure, is that you need to get up and move throughout your house, your home, your apartment, whatever. I feel like there is so much happening around you. You've already gone through it's like a new awakening. I'm talking to people who have been reawakened to their own intuition and abilities that they've had all their life. It's like, it's an awareness. That's what the awakening is. It's an awareness of a connection you've always had and everyone has. But when you're awakened to it, that's when like all of a sudden your mind is aware of what your body has always experienced. It's just now, what are you going to do with it? You're in the next phase here. You're going into the next phase. And I think you're getting bogged down with information. I don't ever say that, but that's how I feel. Like whoever I'm talking to is like bogged down in one spot. And it's almost like it's like paralyzing you in place, even though you're flooded with way more information and it's like so much more fluid in your mind. Okay, cool. It's tying in with other readings today. That thing with finding your uniqueness, that's what moves you forward. So it's like this is an interaction. This is not just a gift plopped into your lap. This means now you're going to be aware of something that you've always had the power, you've always had it in your hands. Now that you're aware of it, it's like they're looking at you like, okay, now what? Now find that part of you that's super unique and super to the core of like what makes you happy. Like that's not, a lot of you are so in your head that you are not experiencing a physical happiness from this connection. Of course, the inner work is hard, but there's a beauty to having someone that you can't see and having an awareness to it. I think sometimes when you're alone a lot, when you're going through this inner journey stuff, we don't say out loud how cool it is that we have something there in the dark, in the silence, in the clouds with us. But you know you do. So it's like you have to make an action inside now. You have to start moving. And I think that the first step in that, because you have so much information that's like stopped up, it's like move throughout your environment. Let yourself start to move throughout your environment physically. Like I'm literally saying physically walk through your home and your space. Yeah, this is so cool. It's like so I think that who I'm talking to also, this is interesting because I didn't quite get that until now, but I'm realizing now that I kept kind of seeing like a dark hue. And I think who I'm talking to is like possibly up all night. And that's just how you operate, and you think that's how your system is. You're like, no, I'm just a night person. I'm a night owl. And I feel like you're really creative, and you actually, it's almost like the blood's pumping at that time. That's when the blood is pumping for you. And this is a cool thing because it's like the uniqueness of you. Start to evaluate that. Like, what is it about that time? Is it because everyone else is asleep, so you have the solitude to process all of that crazy flooding of information finally? Because things are still physically around you? And it's like almost like you're going throughout your days in a period of stillness, of like waiting for the night to hit. How cool is that? That is so interesting. Oh, I don't know that you think that's cool. I do as an outsider, as an onlooker, but I don't think that you see how your uniqueness is actually rounding you out to be such an awesome creature. It's like, okay, this is so weird. And this is like a metaphor for me with my guides. It's like I feel like we all have our dance with it. Like we all dance our spirit through our own systems. And that's how I feel like the connection is. And I got the card for me that represents that, which is quite beautiful. It's and I feel like whoever I'm talking to, you have felt yourself flowing before, and I don't know that you were accepted externally by the people in your environment. So it's like whatever it is that's stilling you, like stilling you, that's like stalling you from moving forward with this new phase that you know you're ready for. Like you know you're ready to go into it. That's what I mean. They're like, yes, we're making sure everything else is lined up, but you're actually in place here. So they're just like that weighing you down type of feeling. I think it's because your human has like this muscle memory reflex here, where you're thinking back to when that blood was pumping and the external response wasn't good, and it's like at nighttime, let your creation like flow. It's almost like you hold yourself back even though the blood is pumping and you're like up late or something. It's like you still are holding yourself back in this paralyzed sort of feeling, like, so it's like get up when you feel that. Just force yourself with your own willpower to get up, because you have the power to. It's like they're telling you this is next phase. This is next step up. Yeah, and you're going to balance out. It's like super balancing. I think that you really need to move and write out stuff. Whoever I'm talking to, it's like you need to speak it out or write it out, which is really, really, alongside the other readings I've done today, it's like a huge collective message, which is that when you're feeling over flooded up here, write it out or speak it out. Even if you're alone in a room, who cares? Who cares? You know that something's in that room with you, so why don't you just speak? You're not nuts. You're allowed to do whatever you need to do to, it's like the first step is always physical. And that's awesome. It's like I don't say future like outcome, because I don't make those choices and I don't trust my version. I just see like action reaction type stuff. And going forward, whoever I'm talking to, you're just waiting for the answer, and you know that you're open to it. So like in that flood, it's like they're telling you to start writing out mess and write it out as purely as it moves. Like whatever thoughts there are, grab one, write it out. Grab the next one, write it out. Don't organize it. Don't worry about it. Don't dilute it with like stillness. Don't let it not be what it purely is. If it's enraged, if it's anger, if it's sad, if you sound like a baby to yourself and you're like, that's way too whiny, like, no. Let every level of yourself start to speak, because then your human is going to be accepting of it. And that's when you are in sync and moving with the intuition. That's when it's moving through you instead of getting stopped up here, because the rest of you has got to accept that you've got to move with it. It's like you have to keep the blood flowing throughout the day. That's interesting. That's what it was coming to. It was like whoever I'm talking to, it's like you have a habit, and I don't feel like it's characteristic, and it doesn't feel like a super dark, depressed thing, but whoever you are, it's almost like I'm talking, this is not all of you, but some of you have a habit of like closing curtains and keeping it dark inside during the day and then really coming alive at night. And I feel like what they're trying to tell you is, okay, bleed that stuff throughout the day, and how you're going to do that and activate it is physical. It's a physical move, and it's like they don't care how you do it. Do something weird, like paint something, go to the store and get something random that you're going to do as a craft. Let yourself awaken the childlike, I'm going to do something with my time when I'm overstimulated. Like, let yourself dive into that. I'm talking to people who love to learn, and I just keep feeling like the guides are trying to say, have fun with this now. You've done such hard work. It's not going to get easy, but it can be fun. Like, they've been wanting you to receive more of the good stuff. You're putting out more. So like, it's time for you to receive more now. They're like, don't forget, this was for you too. Crazy cool. Okay, I'm gonna end it at that. If you feel like this applies to you, definitely let me know in the comments, and subscribe to my channel and allow for notifications for future videos if you feel like any of the readings are resonating for you. And at any point, whenever you hear these messages, if you hear like even the beginning or the middle or the end of the message, if any of those parts apply to you, let yourself receive it. Do not waste time wondering if they do, because I'm asking for specific messages to make you know they're yours. So like whatever resonates, take it. Okay, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next reading.